Hello and welcome, my name's Rob, aka Robbie Roams, and I absolutely love to travel, make YouTube videos and generally make a fool out of myself. So in January 2022, me and Jazz headed on a life-changing 4-month backpacking trip across South America.
So this place is absolutely barking mad. I mean, we've been to some weird and wonderful places, especially in Asia, but this place takes the biscuit.
So sit back, relax, and over the next 3 episodes, join us on this epic journey.
Strangely enough, that there is Pablo Escobar's grave.
By the way, if you're after some South America travel tips, have nothing else better to watch, or you want to see me and Jazz, aka the Super Gringos, trying to navigate around this weird and wonderful continent, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn notifications on. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, this is 4 months in South America. Previously, we got acquainted to life in South America in the countries of Ecuador and Panama.
Jazz has been moaning she's hungry, and I think I've just found her dinner. Guinea pig, anyone?
We got stuck into some adrenaline-fueled activities.
What are we doing?
And also got a little too close to the wildlife. Yep, there was potential for us to be eaten by a shark. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the first episode. Now, let's get into episode 2. Our plan for Colombia was to travel across the Caribbean coast before eventually heading south to Medellin, the coffee region, and finally Bogota before departing to Peru. So after our Sandoval Islands tour, we found ourselves back in civilization at the isolated Colombian town of Cartagena, where we spent a couple of nights hanging out with our newly found friends. Now, I can't even describe what you're about to see, but at the time it was bloody marvellous. After our random street party, it was time to head to mainland Colombia, with Cartagena as our first destination. So welcome to Cartagena. I look like a rough homeless person, and that's because we've obviously spent the last 5 days pretty much in the wilderness. So yesterday we left Cartagena. We got the boat first of all, which was 2 hours to a place called Neclockley. And yeah, there was a bit of an incident on the boat where the woman directly in front of us in the seat passed out to the point where we actually thought she was dead for a bit. Jazz obviously got up and kicked straight into nurse routine, and she couldn't hear her breathing, she couldn't find a pulse, she wasn't reacting at all, and we were all just like...
Until the guy on the boat poured alcohol into her mouth.
Miracle cure in Colombia to anyone who's passed out, you just put rubbing alcohol all over their face and somehow they wake up. So luckily she was okay in the end. We got off the boat, we then took a bus, we then had to transfer the bus, and then the second bus caught fire. It was just such a random day, but we eventually got here last night at 8:30 and we needed a well-deserved rest last night, so that's what we've done. We've had a warm shower for the first time in probably over a week. So yeah, we're in Cartagena now, we're here for a couple of nights. We're not planning on doing too much today, we're going to meet up with a couple of the guys later down in the old town. Tomorrow we'll hopefully do a bit more of a tour around the city. Had an amazing trip doing the Sound Blast Adventures tour, but it's nice to just be in civilization a little bit more now, but yeah.
So we're walking around the old town here in Cartagena, and there's probably one word to describe it, and that's mayhem. Literally, there is so much going on. People trying to sell you absolutely anything you want, literally anything you want you can probably buy. And yeah, it's lively, pretty vibrant, and very picturesque. There's loads of like bunting across the roads, painted buildings. Yeah, it's pretty good. Cartagena. We explored the old town and went back last night, and today we're waiting for our boat and we're going to go to Isla Roots, which is in the San Bernardo Islands, which is 2 hours on the boat from here. And yeah, we're just going to be getting another couple of days chilling on an island that's pretty much cut off from the rest of the world. There's limited electric and stuff like that again, so we're sort of going back to roughing it a little bit. So yeah, hopefully we'll have fun at this place. So after a couple of hours we finally made it to our hostel. We're staying at Isla Roots. Now it's basically a hostel that's on a little sand island surrounded by mangrove, crystal clear blue waters. And yeah, it wasn't that expensive, to be honest. I think it's as expensive to get here as it is to stay here. But yeah, super impressed. It's not like super luxury, but it's awesome, like proper chilled out vibes. Nobody hassling you. You can literally just chill out, sleep in a hammock. They've got various tours you can go and do. The food looks pretty good, and yeah, it's just proper chilled. Buenas noches, senors. We've had a pretty chilled day today. Just watched the sunset and we've had a shower. I'm going to have some dinner in a minute and just have a chilled rest of the night, really. Tomorrow, hopefully, we're going to do a few tours or activities or kayaking, snorkeling. All good. Right, so we took a boat. Luckily at the hostel there's a small boat, and the guy who works there drives it around, and for like a few dollars each we've managed to come to Tintipan Beach. Come for a bit of a beach day here, and the water here is just so crystal clear. I'll give you a little tour of the beach because it is absolutely perfecto. There's Jazz.
We spent the rest of the day relaxing before heading to Isla Roots for our last night. The following morning it was time to head back to mainland Colombia.
We're just waiting for our boat back to Cartagena. Our time on Isla Roots is up, and to get our transfer from the big speedboat back to Cartagena, it's about 2 hours, but we had to get dropped at this island first. It's called Islate. I think I pronounced it right, and it's the most densely populated island anywhere in the Caribbean. So there's about 800 people living in 90 homes, and it's a tiny little island. But anyway, here's our boat, so let's get going.
The next part of the journey involved travelling from Cartagena to Santa Marta, a popular Caribbean city used to access the world famous Tayrona National Park. And as you'll see, things didn't quite go to plan.
I'm just going to give you a quick update on what's happened over the last couple of days. So we got back to Cartagena, had Valentine's Day in the tapas bar, which was mint, and then we got the bus to Santa Marta. Now the bus to Santa Marta started off great, it was absolutely fine, it had Wi-Fi on it, cushy, and then about halfway I started to feel really bad, like my stomach was really killing, and I almost passed out, got really hot and flustered, didn't throw up, held it in, and then my stomach was just killing the rest of the way. And then we got to our hotel, and yeah, it turned into the other end, not sick. So yeah, I was up most of the night, we barely got any sleep. Staying in a really noisy hotel, and then this morning we've got to Tayrona National Park. So there's a couple of ways you can get to Tayrona National Park. You can hike in, which takes about 2 hours, and then you've got to hike back out. You can do that by getting the bus, or you can spend a shitload of money and get a boat direct here, which is the option that we did. So bearing in mind we were pretty rough this morning, we hadn't slept, my stomach was killing, Jazzy's back was killing. We get on this boat, and honestly, by far the worst decision we've ever made. Like, not even on this trip in our entire life. The boat, right, imagine like a little fishing boat with about 20 people on. The waves, at least on the calm bits, were like 3-4 meters high. So every time you hit one wrong, it just slaps down. We were at the front of the boat, and the pain and and suffering we've had to do to get here is just unbelievable. So we've basically said we're not going to get the boat back, even though we paid a shitload of money to do it. We're just going to hike to the bus stop and then get a bus back into town, because that was not fun. It was meant to be 45-minute boat and it ended up being like an hour and 45 of just pure torture, hell. There was kids screaming, crying, old people on there. Woman almost got hypothermia, it looked like. It was just horrible, horrible, horrible way to get here. Not safe. I don't know how they're still legally allowed to run. But yeah, we won't be getting the boat back, let's put it that way.
Despite the nightmare boat ride, Tayrona Park was absolutely beautiful.
Tayrona Park is one of the most famous spots around Santa Marta that people come and visit. So you can stay here in hammocks, you can stay here in tents, 2, 3, 4 nights, whatever you want. Or you can just walk in and walk straight back out the same day. Or you can get a boat in and a boat back. Or you can get a boat in that was that terrible that we're going to suffer a 2-hour hike through 100% humidity in like 30-degree temperatures in flip-flops. That's how bad the boat is. We're actually walking to the main road through the national park. It's going to take us about 2 hours, and then we're going to get a bus back to town. So yeah, crazy. So I'm just going to briefly fill you in on what happened yesterday. We finally got to the end of the walk and it was a little bit harder than we thought. It took us about 2 hours and 20, but it was just really hot and humid, and still it was better than taking the boat, because that boat was horrendous. So we still agreed that it was the best decision. We got back into Santa Marta on the bus, which took a good hour and a half, something like that, and we ended up staying there for the night. And then this morning we got up, and instead of getting the bus here, we got the taxi. So we've come all the way to Palomino, and we're staying at the Dreamer Hostel, which is pretty nice. We've met up with our mates Dom and Abby, who we met on the Sandblast tour, and in about 10 minutes we're going to go tubing. So we're going tubing down the river. I think we've got to get on the back of a motorbike, little walk through the jungle, and then onto the river. Hopefully some ice cold beers and a nice relaxing afternoon down the river. That's the plan. But yeah, after yesterday, that boat, woke up this morning, my arse and like my back is so sore and achy. Like some of the impacts of the boat hitting the waves and stuff, just terrible. So yeah, looking forward to a relaxing afternoon today.
Smart guys. We're off on our tubing adventure, and it was a bit of a sweaty 30-minute walk up like the steepest hill you've ever walked up. Jazz almost died again, but we're here, we're on the river, and it's bloody glorious. Muy rápido. So we're coming to the end of the tubing. I reckon we got about another 15-20 minutes left, and it's been chill. A few rapid incidents. The problem is no beers. I don't know why. I think the guide said we're a bit too late in the day. The guide's now done one, which is fine, but yeah, there is no beers along the route.
A few moments later.
Cometh the hour, cometh the man. Domhnall Craig is returned with the bounty, fitting for such an occasion. Hey!
Only got the beer in the end, but as with all beers in South America, after about 30 seconds they go to an undrinkably warm temperature. Not moaning though, because that's what we've wanted the whole trip. But yeah, the sun's just setting. We've got about 5 or 10 minutes till we get to the beach, and we've got the tunes on. We've managed to bring El Speakero, which is splash proof. Just forgot to put it on for most of the journey, but we've got it for the last leg, so life is good. Cheers everyone.
Alright guys, welcome to Medellin. So it's been a couple of days since our last vlogged, and we did the tubing in Palomino, and then the next day we caught a flight to Medellin. Yesterday we had a bit of an admin day, got my hair cut, did some laundry, went up to the shopping mall, had a bit of food, and last night we went to watch in the stadium just over there Atlético Nacional, which is one of the main teams here in Medellin, and they played a league game. They won 1-0, and yeah, crazy experience to be honest. Like 30,000-40,000 fans, and where we're staying here is like the main street where everyone goes for pre-drinks and stuff, and yeah, it got a bit crazy. There was like the ultras with fireworks, setting off flares and stuff like that. So yeah, we are in Medellin, Colombia, which if you've watched Narcos you'll know, famous for Pablo Escobar and his multi-billion-pound cocaine empire. And today we're actually going to go on a Pablo Escobar tour, hopefully to visit some of the spots that he used to live in, his grave, and learn a bit more about the history. But yeah, we've been here 2 nights now, crazy city. Hopefully we'll learn a bit more today on this tour, but yeah, feels good to be here.
Friends, this car.
The Pablo Escobar tour was actually horrendous. It started with a load of conspiracy theories about Pablo Escobar's death, and generally had no organisation whatsoever. So yeah, we wouldn't recommend it.
A partir de ese momento dice no puede recordar fechas, cifras, algo que le cuesta. Son de cuerpo que se enterraron acá desde el inicio.
Strangely enough, that there is Pablo Escobar's grave, and yeah, it's strange. A lot of people just come in here and have a selfie or a photo next to it. It's a bit strange really, but here we are. Welcome to Colombia. Yeah, this tour we've done has been utterly bizarre. There's unorganised chaos, and yeah, we've got to see where he's buried and his gravestone, and it's interesting because like a lot of the foreigners especially are just showing up here, buying ice creams, having a selfie and then going. It's literally a tourist attraction. There's a guy peddling ice cream stood right next to the grave, and then there's some Colombian people who are touching it and doing the cross and like being really respectful. So yeah, I think it's quite a divisive place to come, quite a divisive figure obviously in Colombia. He helped a lot of people, but he also killed a lot of people, so yeah, on the whole I think Colombia are just trying to raise him from their history. But yeah, I guess if you come to Medellin, maybe it's something that you come and do. We've come and done it, and yeah, mixed feelings. Just had an update, there's a dog just pissed on Pablo Escobar's grave. There you go.
The next day we headed out to explore more of Medellin, including the famous Communa 13, once known as the most dangerous place on earth. This area used to be run by cartel gangs and was rife with violence and killings.
It's absolutely roasting today. So we've come to Communa 13 in Medellin, which used to be the most dangerous neighbourhood in the whole of the city. And I think in the late 90s they transformed it. They completely cleared out all the gangs, all of the dodgy drug dealing and stuff. And now it's just full of graffiti, shops. They've even put in these nice escalators for people to get around on. So yeah, interesting place. So we've come to Guatape, which is the giant rock place with the town and the lakes all around it. And the first port of call is I'm going to try and climb up the rock, which is 740 something steps. Should be alright. Oh, breath away. 175 steps so far. Fucking hell. I'm gonna be the freshman. 125 left. Absolutely fucked. So in the background you can see all like the lakes. It's actually a reservoir. The woman on the bus was telling us there used to be a town within where they wanted to build the reservoir, and they basically had to build a new town and relocate everyone to the new one. But yeah, just about to start walking back down now, and anyone that walks up hills will know, for me the hardest bit is to go back down. Knees are going to be like jelly, but here we go. So we've ended the tour in Guatape, the town that's near the rock, and yeah, pretty scenic to be honest. Very colourful. Had a nice milkshake, and yeah, we're just going to go and get an ice cream now and then get back on the bus. But yeah, I think Guatape, the town, is actually better than just the little rock itself, so definitely recommend coming here. So we've left Medellin. We took a bus that was supposed to take like 6 hours to get here, and it ended up taking 10.5 hours. Yeah, that was not a good time. But yeah, we're in Salento, which is a nice little town in the coffee region of Colombia, and we're going to hopefully go today to the Cauca Valley, which is the place that has the world's tallest palm trees. I read that there's a couple of them that are as tall as the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So yeah, we're going to go and explore that. The weather when we got here was absolutely shocking, so I'm praying we don't get soaked today. But yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully we should be leaving pretty soon, jumping on the back of one of these little jeeps and then going down to the valley. So that's the plan. So we've been in Salento a few nights now, and apart from the fact that every afternoon it absolutely pisses down, I'm really impressed with the place. It's got a really like chilled vibe. Everyone seems to be friendly, and there's been parts of Colombia where it's not always like that, and it does seem a bit sketchy, but here definitely not. Beautiful little town, obviously Cauca Valley. If you're into coffee or anything like that, part of the coffee triangle here, so it's a massive producer of coffee. You can get the freshest Colombian coffee going. I don't drink coffee, as you know, but Jazz does. So yeah, you can sample some of that. You can go to the coffee farms and do a bit of a tour. Yeah, there's all sorts to do here. Apart from the fact that we had to get a 10-hour bus down from Medellin, which is not normally that long, would probably recommend a stop off here if you've got a few nights.
Although I didn't film much, we enjoyed our time in Salento, and did you know it helped inspire the Oscar-winning Disney film Encanto? If you watch the film, you'll definitely pick up on the Salento vibes.
So hello, it's a couple of days since I last vlogged, and this whole journey might seem a bit of a mismatch because I'm not vlogging absolutely everything, I'm not recording absolutely everything, because when you travel for that long it's just impossible, I think, to keep going and keep going. But anyway, today we're in Bogota, which is the capital of Colombia. We got here 2 nights ago from Salento. The weather's been absolutely pants, but that's okay because yesterday I was just having a day chilling out. We went in the little hot tub here, which was pretty cool. A lot of people have said that Bogota isn't that great in terms of the other places in Colombia. There's not that much to see and do, but we're going to try and find a couple of bits this afternoon. A mountain called Montserrat, which overlooks the city, and there's another cable car to get up there, so we're going to head there first. Probably grab some lunch and then see a couple of the other sites. So yeah, it feels weird because this is our last leg of the Colombia part of this trip, and I've been quite surprised with Colombia. I didn't know exactly what to expect, but so far it's been incredible. Yeah, overall Colombia, awesome. Another thing, I'm wearing trackies for the first time in 6 weeks, so it feels a bit unusual. The weather here is about 16 degrees and it's been pissing down on and off most of the day. So yeah, resorted back to trackies. So there we go. So we are in the main square in Bogota, the Plaza de Simon Bolivar. He was the guy who was a girl with a pigeon on her head. Jess always comes out with these pearls of wisdom when I'm about to talk about some history. So yeah, this square is named after Bolivar. He was the guy that freed Colombia from the Spanish. So a lot of the street names in Colombia and South America, especially the northern part, are named after him. This building behind me is the Supreme Palace of Justice. If you watch Narcos or you know anything about the history of Colombia, this was arguably the most impregnable building, i.e. you couldn't get in there, you couldn't attack it, you couldn't do anything. And there was a vault with a room full of Pablo Escobar's documentation and accounts that could basically put him away for years. And before the trial went to court, he basically paid the M19 to have a siege on this building, and there was loads of people died, there was tanks on the street, there was explosions, and in the end all of the incriminating documentation that would have got Pablo Escobar locked away got burnt to shreds. Got burnt down to the ashes. So yeah, if you watch Narcos you'd have seen this building. I think it's undergoing some renovations at the minute. Yeah, other than that, the main square here in Bogota is like any square in Central or South America. There's normally a church in the middle and then just a big open square full of pigeons. And yeah, it's weird, the weather today feels very much like we're back at home. Quite nice actually after all the heat. So one of the main things to do in Bogota is come up to Montserrat, which is a little mountain that sits above the skyline of Bogota. You can get up here on a cable car or the funicular little train thing. We took the train, it's the only one running today. And as you can see behind me, the wonderful view of Bogota. Or not, because it's misty, cloudy, raining, foggy, I don't know what you want to call it, but we can't see shit.
And there we have it. After 4 weeks, our time in Colombia came to an end.
And you're joining us right now in Peru. So yesterday we left Colombia and we flew to Lima, which is the capital, and actually looking forward to some of the stuff we've got planned. So like tomorrow we're going to go hopefully swimming with sea lions. Bit random, but we love doing it in the Galapagos, and there's a trip that I've booked that hopefully will be pretty good tomorrow. And then in a week's time we're going to go to the Peruvian Amazon, deep into the jungle, hopefully see some wildlife and yeah, get a taste for the Amazon rainforest. And then after that we're going to head to the higher parts of Peru, where hopefully we're going to get to see Machu Picchu. Welcome to Peru. There's not a fat lot more for me to say, but yeah, let's get stuck into it.
Hello.
So we've come to the Kennedy Park here in Lima, and I read online before we actually got here that it used to have a really bad problem with rodents, so they brought in some cats to deal with the problem, and then the cats bred, and now it's just full of stray cats. But they're actually looked after really well. They're obviously fed and taken care of. You can even adopt them. You just walk past a little hut where there's like a little cat eating its dinner.
There's food and water everywhere.
Yeah, there's literally food and water down all through the park, and it looks like the local people actually enjoy them. If you're a cat lover, this park in Lima is the place to be. So we finished walking around the park and we've spotted these little Boris bikes which you can hire for literally next to nothing. So hopefully Jazz is just unlocking a couple for us and we're going to go and get down to the front.
After a day exploring the capital city, we woke up early, ready to embark on a unique swimming with sea lions tour.
About to jump in and it absolutely stinks, but there's a shitload of sea lions. Definitely think we're going to swim with some. So we've just got back from the sea lion tour, and it was absolutely crazy. I think the maddest thing was we were given wetsuits and stuff, And when we've been on this trip so far, we haven't really been asked about wearing a wetsuit because the water's been that warm. But Jazz jumped straight in with her wetsuit on, and she was like, "Ooh, it's freezing cold."
I'm never like that either.
And Jazz literally can jump in cold water, no problem. And then I jumped in, Jesus. Like, you know when your arms and your legs just go numb because it's that cold. I didn't expect it. The guy said it was between 15 and 16 degrees. So that's kind of like UK temperatures of the sea. So yeah, pretty cold. But overall the experience was awesome. Just like our boat, a line of people, and then a line of sea lions just looking at us and coming up to us and sniffing your feet and doing little flips and jumps and stuff. Yeah, definitely recommend that one. Right guys, welcome back to the video. We're in Huacachina, and it's a weird and wonderful sort of desert oasis in the really sort of dry desert part of Peru. It took us like, I think it was like a 4.5 hour, 5 hour bus from Lima. We've come to Huacachina. Now the reason I haven't really recorded much the past 2 nights we've been here is that honestly it's not as good as it's hyped up to be. Like I can imagine 20 years ago when probably this place was first established, maybe 30 years ago, ideal little oasis in the desert, nice little boardwalk around it, bit of infrastructure, but honestly it's not that great. I mean, if you do want to come here and just see it, I'd probably just say for a night. Yeah, I'd probably just stay here for a night if you do want to actually come here. Reasons why I say it ain't that great: A, it's dirty, there's litter everywhere. If you walk in the sand dunes you have to be careful because it's broken glass. It's just generally in need of some major TLC. It's pretty run down, it smells pretty bad here. The water in the oasis is like a horrible browny colour. Just in general it just doesn't feel that nice or that clean. And the interesting thing is, if you look around at the minute, it's a Monday right now, there's nobody here. Over the weekend you couldn't move on this boardwalk and every single hotel's rammed, and obviously that drives the price up. So yeah, the price to stay here is mega expensive for Peru. I mean, there's some cool activities you can do here. You can do the sand buggy experience thing in the dunes, where you drive up and down the sand buggy, and then as part of that trip you can do sandboarding. But yeah, it seems to be down as like a backpacker's haven, and there's a cool couple of hostels here, but other than that there ain't a fat lot here. But yeah, anyway, we've obviously been here a couple of days and not got up to a fat lot, so it feels a bit like a bit of a wasted trip down here. But anyway, we're going to jump back on the Peru bus in about 10 minutes from the town of Ica, which is about a 10-minute taxi ride away. And then hopefully tomorrow we've got our flight to Puerto Maldonado, where we're going to go to the Amazon. So yeah, hopefully from a place not so good to a place that's a lot better. That's the plan anyway. So today's an exciting one. I'm trying not to do a monotone voice because my director here has said that I've got a monotonous voice. Is what it is. We're going to go to Puerto Maldonado today, and we're going to start a 3-day Amazon tour in the Peruvian Amazon. So yeah, exciting. It's one of them places, like for me anyway as a kid, I don't know about you, Jazz, like think of like the Attenborough documentaries and the Amazon's the go-to. What was you watching? Flintstones? Rugrats. There you go. I was watching Attenborough, Jazz was watching Rugrats. So yeah, so we're going to the Amazon today. Hopefully it's a good trip and we don't get eaten alive. That was a pretty hectic few hours. Basically what happened, we landed in Puerto Maldonado. The guy from the company, Oscar, come and picked us up. We pretty much got straight on a boat and we zipped up this river, like a key tributary of the Amazon River, and we're now at this lodge, which is, let's say, 2.5-3 hours up. We're fully in the Amazon jungle right now. The lodge we're staying at is really sweet, to be honest. I think they're relatively new, but yeah, we've got electric, we've got running water and everything. I think the electric cuts off at like 10 o'clock. It must be running on a generator, but it's absolutely incredible. and on the way up we saw a couple of capybaras.
Active now, they're active day and nighttime.
The plan is at 5 o'clock we're going to go for a little jungle walk, so it's going to be like a sunset into the dark, see what we can spot, and then I think we come back here for dinner and then it's lights out. So it's about 99% humidity, probably still 26, 27, and we're about to go on our little jungle walk that's going to turn into a night jungle walk. This is what I'm wearing. I got Jazz's leggings to stop the bugs and shit getting me. I got my thick thermal socks on for my wellies that we've got to wear, and we're braving it on top because it's just too hot, and we've just got a load of DEET on which is currently burning our skin, so hopefully we don't end up covered in insect bites or mozzie bites, and it's all worth it. But yeah, just about to head out on the jungle trek now. So we're just walking through the jungle, and it started to get dark. There's mosquitoes everywhere. Feels like we're being eaten alive. But the sounds, there's so many different sounds of birds and different monkeys and insects. It's just incredible. Okay, I think.
Yeah. Leave this bamboo.
Big-ish.
Holy! It's one of those.
So, yeah, how would I describe that? Intense, humid, a million mosquitoes trying to eat you, and you got to literally look at every single place that you put your foot. Every leaf that you touch could potentially hurt, injure or kill you. So it was intense, but I enjoyed it. It's crazy, you watch like these David Attenborough programs and like nature documentaries and that, and they make out that everything in the jungle's out to get you. Trust me, if you come here and do it, you realise that everything is probably out to get you. Even like the bamboo trees have got spikes in that could potentially kill you. Yeah, like poisonous spiders, insects that want to eat you alive, fruit that can kill you, fruit falling from the tree that can kill you. Yeah, mad intense experience, but enjoyed it. I'm glad we're alive, and I'm so itchy. Oh, the feeling of bugs and moths all over you. Oh, we survived it. Good experience. We're gonna have a shower and go for some dinner, but yeah, wow, don't know what else to say.
So good morning, day 2 in the Amazon. It's 3:45 in the morning. For some strange reason we haven't got electric to get ready. Anyway, we're leaving at 4 to go on a 2-hour boat ride upstream to a clay lick, where hopefully we're going to spot a load of parrots and macaws and stuff like that. So it's an early get up. It's absolutely pissing it down. Barely slept, but hopefully it's going to be all worth it.
So we've had a really early start, and the results of last night's mosquito bitings are becoming apparent. We're literally covered in them. Anyway, we've come to this first place, which is a famous clay lick where there's sometimes thousands of macaws and parrots come. Unfortunately, because of the weather this morning, they haven't shown up. So we're going to get back in the boat and head over there. Hopefully we can see some. We spotted a couple of parrots. We spotted Jazz, the bird watcher, spotted this really colourful red-headed woodpecker, which was pretty cool. But yeah, hopefully this next place we see a bit more. I was awoken last night by an armadillo snoring under the house, amongst a number of other critters. But the sounds of the jungle at night when you're lying in bed, I can't describe it.
It's so
It's so loud, and it sounds like it's like 8D or something 3D, like every degree, like 360 degree audio. You can hear things in angles and places you didn't even know you could hear them. It's a weird description, but that's really what it's like. And when you're trying to sleep, it's not not the easiest, because you can hear things rustling. You hear things under the hut, hear things on top of the hut. Yeah. Interesting night's sleep, if you can call it sleep. Hence the bags. Okay, so the second activity we're doing on the second day in the Amazon is walk through the jungle again. We're going to a lake that's not too far away, and hopefully there we're going to do a bit of piranha fishing, something that I've been looking forward to be honest. So yeah.
That is, I have the orange fruit in the ground.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Good camouflage, huh?
Yeah.
Excelente.
Wow, look at that.
That's big, yeah. Any moment, that's why.
I'm gonna step over it.
People in the past
Wow.
This is sketchy. Humidity is ridiculous.
But now, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Watch your feet everywhere.
Travis's turn. Although I'm claiming an assist from Travis on that. Good morning, it's day 3 on our Amazon adventure. We're leaving this place, the Finca Lodge, and we're catching a boat upriver to the Sandoval Lake. It's like a naturally formed lake from the Oxbow River. If you're into geography, or you did GCSE geography, I'm sure you'll know what that is. But yeah, this place has been incredible. We've literally just come back from breakfast and we can hear this and there's a howler monkey in the tree just going ape. Yeah, just kicking off at something, and the sound is weird. It sounds like something out of a horror film, like a zombie or something. The walk down to the little lake, the piranha fishing trip we did yesterday was pretty awesome. Coming back in the dark, forgot how far it actually was, and in the humidity and the heat and all the bugs and stuff, it was quite a mission to get back. So yeah, after dinner last night I was absolutely flat out, but it's good because I had a good night's kip. and feeling a little bit fresher this morning. But yeah, in about 10 minutes we're going to jump on a boat, head a couple of hours up the river, and we're going to our next place where we're staying for one night, and then the trip ends tomorrow and we're heading to Cusco.
Big one, Oh, he's just hanging out up there, hey? Well, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Looking right at us.
You see, yeah, 6 big trees, very high. Top the trees, big trees, and howling. That's why you can hear a lot.
Oh my gosh.
You can get the sick. You can suck the sick. Try it. It's
Yeah?
good.
You suck on it?
Yeah. And this is some. This is bird. Oh, yeah. Beautiful bird. That's
So we're about to start the last activity, I think, pretty much on this tour. We've come down to the Sandoval Lake, which is an oxbow lake that's obviously been cut off from the main river quite a while back. There's 5 different lodges that are around the lake edge, and they used to be where the locals used to hunt from. So they used to hunt the monkeys, various different creatures, and then when this area became a nature reserve, the government allowed them to build the huts for the tourists and allow tourists in to stop them from hunting. So yeah, interesting. The thing we've really struggled with today is the heat. We've had sun out all day, and paired that with the humidity, you literally don't have a second to breathe. The sweat is just constantly dripping, and I mean, we've just had a nap and I've been able to take Jazz's leggings off, which has been a blessing, but my legs are just still pissing like non-stop with sweat. So now we've deeted up, I've got the leggings back on and it's still sunny. We're going to go back on the little rowing boat, little canoe, and we're going to explore around the lake, the sunset, hopefully spot some creatures, and then spend an hour or so in the darkness to see if we can find some caimans, whatever else. But yeah, it's fucking hot, as you can tell.
We bugger off.
vegetarian ruminant, like a cow. They feed on leaf mostly.
And the video's ready.
Also one in the back. So 1, 2, 3, how many?
Oh, that's a big boy.
Good morning. We are feeling, looking pretty damn tired and rough this morning. It's our last day. We're going to head to the airport a bit later on, but we're going back on the lake to try and spot some of the giant otters. Apparently there's only 2 of them on this giant lake now. There used to be 6, so it was a little bit easier to spot them, but 8. Oh, there used to be 8. Whether we will or not, I don't know. But yeah, last night was awesome. We got to see this giant caiman. He got to be getting on for what, like 5 foot, something like that. And yeah, we literally did a drive-by on the boat. It was awesome. But yeah, we're feeling pretty like run down after being in the jungle for like 4 days. Just everything's so damp, sweaty. We've been bitten, like we've said a million times, and it's just so itchy. It's been a great experience overall, but we're looking forward to getting back into some kind of civilization, getting all our clothes washed, getting some cream on these bites and just recouping. So yeah, we're going to jump on the boat in a minute and then hopefully find some more wildlife and otters, and then come back for breakfast and then head back to Puerto Maldonado where the airport is.
Although we didn't spot the otters, we saw plenty of monkeys and birds before finally heading to the airport and flying to Cusco.
So we've just left Cusco, we're in a taxi heading to Ollantaytambo or whatever it's called. I've got that completely wrong, but from there we're going to catch a train to Aguas Calientes, and then tomorrow, fingers crossed, we're going to go to Machu Picchu.
We are on the train, it's about to depart in 2 or 3 minutes, and obviously we're going from here to Aguas Calientes Machu Picchu station. And we're in this like carriage that's got like windows above it. We paid like an extra $10, so apparently you get better views of like the route along the way. So I don't know, extra $10 for some windows above our head. But yeah, apparently we've got to wear these 2 face masks. So a bit overkill, but at least we won't catch COVID.
Energizing the parishioners with faith and devotion to the Virgin of Carmen.
Good morning, it's just gone 6 o'clock in Aguas Calientes, and today is an exciting day, although it might not seem it. I'm a bit tired. Today, in about an hour's time, we're hopefully going to be going up to Machu Picchu. Yeah, fingers crossed it doesn't rain. We've got ponchos just in case. We've got to go down, get a bus ticket, and then the bus takes us up to Machu Picchu from Aguas Calientes town. But yeah, I've been really looking forward to this place ever since we decided we were going to come South America, so hopefully it lives up to expectations. Welcome to Machu Picchu. I think we picked a good morning. As you can see, I'm at like one of the main viewpoints where you're meant to get photos and stuff, and yeah, there's a little bit of cloud in the way at the minute. Let's hope it clears. Bit of a wasted journey if not. Now, I don't know if it's the altitude or the amount of steps, but yeah, my chest is killing today, but the clouds are just clearing so we can actually go and get some photos. Yeah, you're probably wondering where Jazz is. I think we underestimated the amount of steps. She wasn't particularly happy about coming this specific way. Yeah, of course it's my fault, so maybe she'll catch me up in a bit. Finally, the clouds passed. I mean, like literally every 5 or 10 minutes, like they just come and go. But yeah, managed to get some decent shots there, and the little hike up here, Jazz's little fallout, was all worth it. This place is spectacular. I mean, it looks it on the photos, but when you're here in person, it's just even better. So you can come to Machu Picchu and hire a tour guide to tell you a bit about it. We haven't. But from what I've picked up from other groups, there were 400 or 500 people living here during the Inca period, and the buildings here are a mix of houses, workshops and places where they stored food. And obviously the Inca Empire was around until the Spanish conquest, and basically the Spanish overthrew all the Inca Empire, and yeah, probably would have been here today if it weren't for the Spanish. So I think we've picked a good time to come. Pre-COVID, this place I think used to get 8,000-9,000 people a day, and it was just a procession all the way around the different circuits you can do. But since COVID, obviously there's less people travelling, and they're now limiting it to sort of like, I think it's 300 or 400 people per hour. Yeah, I feel quite privileged to be here, and there be not many people around, so I'm liking these ruins pretty much on my own. There we have it. Machu Picchu, absolutely amazing. So glad we came and did it.
Once we'd finished at Machu Picchu, we got the bus back into town before boarding our train and heading back to Cusco.
Out of the windows and keep it.
We spent a couple of days in Cusco and decided to see more of the city by doing a really random bus tour. The city itself is located in the Peruvian Andes and was once the capital of the Inca Empire. Cusco has a number of Inca ruins nearby, and as part of the bus tour we were blessed with a coca leaf ceremony, which I'm sure you're about to watch.
We've been given some local drink. Let's see how good it is. It smells alright.
Es una demostración de nuestra cultura, son parte de tradiciones que todavía viven en aislamiento voluntario. Esto es porque el poblado de Queros corre con México. Ampuy, Ampuy, Apu Sangate,
Apu Sangate,
Apu Amahuipa, Apu Pachatusan, Apu Pachatusan.
So we've come to the last stop of the tour after our coca leaf ceremony, which was pretty bizarre and interesting at the same time. And we've come to Cristo Blanco, which is the giant Jesus statue that sits on the top of the hill overlooking Cusco. And I think we're going to get a pretty good view just as the sun's setting.
Put it down.
Feel big enough?
Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
Are you sure? Is that what it's meant to be like?
Yeah, lovely. There you go.
We're at Cusco Airport, and we're hoping to catch a flight to Lima, and we've got to connect and catch a flight to Juliaca. From there we're going to go to Puno, which is going to be our last stop in Peru.
Once we arrived in Puno, we went on a tour of Lake Titicaca, one of South America's largest lakes and the world's highest navigable lake. The lake borders both Peru and Bolivia and is home to the Uru, an indigenous people who live on floating islands in the lake made from reed. After a couple of days in Puno, it was time for us to cross the border into Bolivia, which actually turned out to be a bit of a nightmare, but I'm going to save that for episode 3. So, thanks very much for watching. Let's take a quick look at what's coming up in the final episode. We check out the weird and wonderful parts of La Paz in Bolivia before heading to uni for an amazing 3-day tour of the world famous salt flats.
If I was on another planet right now, this is probably what it would look like.
We then crossed the border into Argentina, where we indulged in some of the world's best wines, before heading to the capital, Buenos Aires, where we enjoyed some tango dancing. We moved south to Patagonia, one of my favourite places on this whole trip, and explored the glaciers and vast landscapes.
Come from the wooded section out into here, and finally we can see Fitzroy in the background. and it looks fucking beautiful, man.
We then visit the iconic Iguazu Falls from both Argentina and Brazil's side. And finally, we explore the cities of Sao Paulo and Paraty in Brazil before heading to Rio de Janeiro, where we ended our trip on a massive high at the Rio Carnival. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, check me out on Instagram at Robbie Roams, and I'll see you shortly in episode 3. You really don't want to miss that one.